I stood outside my own house, shaking. Not from the cold, from what I'd just heard through the window. My son's voice. The realtor's coming tomorrow. Mom has no idea. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're listening from. You'll want to hear what happened next. It was a Friday evening in October. Cold. I'd just come home early from the hospital, 2 days after gallbladder surgery. I was supposed to stay until Sunday, but I felt strong enough to leave. I stood by the living room window, my hand trembling around the keys. The keys I'd given Ryan 5 days earlier. "So I can help while you recover," he'd said. I could smell my own coffee brewing inside, hear the television, see the kitchen light glowing warm through the glass. His wife Amber laughed. That sound cut deeper than the surgeon's blade ever did. I gave him my keys, my trust, my home. And this is what he did with it. I didn't knock. I didn't scream. I just stood there in the cold, smiling. Because I knew something they didn't. But let me go back 2 weeks. Before the surgery. Before I knew. 10 days before my surgery, Ryan came to visit. He brought groceries, helped me with the yard work, asked about my health. Then, while we sat at the kitchen table, he said something that should have warned me. "Mom, have you thought about updating your will? Just in case." I laughed. "I'm having my gallbladder out, not open heart surgery." He smiled, but his eyes wandered around the room. He touched the wall near the kitchen doorway. "This house is worth a lot now, you know." I didn't think much of it then. 5 days before the surgery, Amber came by. She brought chicken soup, talked sweetly about my recovery. "Mom, are you sure you'll be okay living alone? Maybe you should think about downsizing. Something smaller, easier to manage." The words stung. I was 62, not 92. "I've lived here for 34 years, I told her. "I'm not going anywhere." She smiled. Then she walked around, taking pictures with her phone. "Just for memories," she said. I didn't know she was sending those pictures to a realtor. The day before my surgery, Ryan came to get my keys. "So I can help while you recover," he said. I handed them over. "You're such a good son." He looked at me. Something flickered in his eyes. Something I couldn't read. "Don't worry about anything, Mom. We'll take care of everything." His voice sounded different, flat. But I blamed my own anxiety about the surgery. I remember him as a boy, 7 years old, holding my hand on his first day of school. I remember my husband Thomas, before he died 8 years ago, making Ryan promise, "Take care of your mother." Ryan had cried at the funeral. "I will, Dad, always." If only I had listened to my instinct. But now, I'm back to that Friday evening, standing outside my window, listening. I didn't go inside. Not yet. I needed to hear more. Through the gap in the curtain, I could see them. Ryan on the couch, Amber standing by the kitchen counter, holding a glass of wine. "My wine." Ryan's voice came clear through the glass. "The realtor's coming tomorrow at 10. Mom has no idea. She'll still be in the hospital for at least 3 more days." Amber leaned against the counter. "Are you sure she signed the power of attorney?" "Yeah. Last year when Dad died, she gave me full authority if she's incapacitated. Technically, post-surgery counts." My knees went weak. The power of attorney. I'd signed it after Thomas died. I was terrified of dying suddenly like he did. Ryan had said, "Just in case, Mom, I'll never use it unless you really need me to." Unless you really need me to. Amber's voice cut through my thoughts. "God, finally. Do you know how much this place is worth? The market's insane right now." 1.2 million. Easy, Ryan said. "We can pay off the house, buy that lake cabin, and still have money left over." They laughed. That laugh. "What are we going to tell her when she gets out?" Ryan didn't answer right away. Then, that it was for her own good, that she couldn't manage it alone anymore. "We'll set her up in a nice assisted living place. She's 62, not 82. She's going to be furious. She'll get over it. What's she going to do? She has no one else." They laughed again. I stood there, hand pressed against the cold window. My chest felt hollow, empty. My son, the boy I carried, raised, sacrificed everything for, was selling my home out from under me, and laughing about it. And in that moment, I made a decision. I wouldn't stop him. Not yet. I'd let him think he won. I walked away from that window, down the street to the park, sat on a bench in the cold, and I remembered everything. I was 23 when I had Ryan, still in college. His father left when Ryan was 2. No child support, no contact, nothing. I worked 2 jobs. Waitress during the day, retail at night. I bought this house in 1991, a tiny down payment, 30 years of mortgage payments ahead of me. But it was mine. Ours. I remember Ryan asking me once, when he was 8, "Mom, why do you work so much?" I smiled, kissed his forehead. "So you can have everything I didn't." When Ryan was 12, I met Thomas. A good man, kind. He loved us both. He helped me pay off the mortgage early, put Ryan through college, gave us stability. Thomas got cancer in 2015, diagnosed in March, gone by December. I quit my job to take care of him. 2 years of watching him fade, 2 years of holding his hand through chemo, through pain, through the final breath. Before he died, Thomas made Ryan promise. "Take care of your mother," he said. "Promise me." Ryan held his father's hand, tears running down his face. "I promise, Dad. I will. Always." I believed him. After Thomas died, he left the house to me. No debt, no mortgage, but no savings either. Medical bills had taken everything. I lived on a small pension. Taught piano lessons from home. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Ryan visited sometimes, but Amber was always busy, always rushing, always cold. I was lonely, but I was proud. I built this life, this house. It was all I had. And now my son wanted to take it. Not because he loved me, not because he wanted to help me, because he needed money. I thought about all those years, the nights I skipped dinner so Ryan could eat, the winters I wore the same coat so he could have new shoes, the times I said no to myself so I could say yes to him. I gave him $15,000 when he married Amber, my savings, all of it, so he could buy a car. I paid $20,000 for their wedding, money I'd saved for years. I gave him my whole life, and he was taking the last thing I had left. I sat on that bench until my fingers went numb. Then I stood up. I wasn't going back to that house, not tonight. I walked 4 blocks to Diane's place. Diane, my neighbor for 20 years, the only real friend I had left. I knocked on her door. She opened it, took one look at my face. "What happened?" I told her everything. She listened, didn't interrupt. When I finished, she said something I'll never forget. "I never liked that wife of his. Too slick, too fake." Then she put her hand on my shoulder. "What do you need?" "A place to stay for 2 days, and your phone." "What are you planning?" I looked at her. Justice. I sat in Diane's living room that night, hands wrapped around a cup of tea I couldn't drink. 3 choices sat in front of me. I could walk back in there right now, scream, cry, beg them to stop. But what would that do? They'd apologize, make excuses, say they were just thinking about my future, and then they'd do it anyway. Or I could do nothing. Let them sell the house, move into whatever assisted living facility they picked, spend my last good years watching other people's lives through a window. Or I could fight. Not with tears, not with begging, with silence. Thomas used to say something, back when we played chess on Sunday mornings. The smartest move is the one your enemy doesn't see coming. I looked at Diane. "I need to stay here. 2 days. I need Ryan to think I'm still in the hospital." "What are you going to do?" "Let him dig the hole deeper." Diane studied my face. 20 years of friendship. She knew when to push and when to trust. "Okay," she said. "But we need a plan." She was right. I called my doctor. Told him I was staying with a friend for recovery instead of going back to the hospital. He wasn't happy, but he agreed. As long as I took my medication and rested, then I called the hospital, asked them not to tell anyone I'd checked out early. They couldn't promise that. Privacy rules? But they could be vague if Ryan called. Next, I needed to know what Ryan was really planning. Diane pulled out her phone. "I have an idea." She called someone, her nephew, Marcus. "He works in real estate," she told me. "He can help." I didn't know it then. But Marcus would become the key to everything. I walked into Diane's guest room that night with nothing but my purse and a plan. For the first time in days, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt dangerous. The first night at Diane's, I couldn't sleep. She made peppermint tea. We sat at her kitchen table, the one I'd sat at 100 times before. But tonight, everything felt different. "Tell me everything from the beginning," she said. So I did. The power of attorney, the surgery, the conversation through the window. When I finished, Diane leaned back in her chair. "Do you still have a copy of that power of attorney document?" "No. Ryan kept the original." "Doesn't matter. I know a trick or two." I looked at her. Really looked at her. Diane was 67, silver hair, sharp eyes. I'd known her for 20 years, but I'd never asked much about her life before retirement. "I used to be a family lawyer," she said. "Specialized in inheritance and elder protection, retired in 2018. But I still keep up with the law." My chest loosened, just a little. "Can he really sell the house?" "Not without your explicit consent. And definitely not while you're competent. Post-surgery doesn't make you incapacitated. You're sitting here, talking to me, making decisions. That's the definition of competent." "So he can't do it?" "Not legally, but that doesn't mean he won't try." She got up, poured more tea. "We need proof that you're competent. Medical documentation. Then we revoke his power of attorney." "How?" "You write a letter, get it notarized, send it to him. His authority disappears. But I don't want him to know yet." Diane smiled. "Smart. Let him dig deeper first." She picked up her phone, called someone. "Dr. Patterson? It's Diane Morrison. I need a favor." "Dr. Patterson, my doctor." Diane knew him. She explained the situation. He agreed to write a statement, confirming I was fully competent and capable of making independent decisions. "That's our first piece," Diane said after hanging up. "What's the second?" "We need to know exactly what Ryan's planning. That's where Marcus comes in." The next morning, Saturday, Marcus arrived. He was 28, professional, carried a leather briefcase. Diane introduced us. "Marcus, this is Eleanor. Eleanor, my nephew Marcus. He's a real estate agent." Marcus shook my hand. "Diane told me what's happening." "I'm sorry. Can you help?" "Absolutely. I can pose as a potential buyer. Get into the house, record the conversation." "Is that legal?" "In this state, yes. One-party consent. As long as I'm part of the conversation, I can record it." Diane had thought of everything. "The realtor's coming at 10 tomorrow morning," I said. "Sunday." Marcus nodded. "I'll be there at 9:30. Introduce myself as a buyer who heard the property might be available. I'll feel them out." "What if they say no?" "They won't. People who are desperate never say no to interested buyers." He was right. We spent the rest of Saturday planning. Diane wrote out the power of attorney revocation letter. Simple, clear, legal. "We'll hold on to this," she said. "Use it when the time is right." That evening, Diane and I sat in her living room. The fireplace crackled. She poured 2 glasses of wine. "Why are you doing all this for me?" I asked. She turned to me. Her eyes softened. 20 years ago, when my husband died, you sat with me every night for 3 months. You didn't have to. You just did. You brought food, listened to me cry, helped me figure out how to live alone." I remembered. "Bill. Cancer. Gone in 6 weeks. That's what friends do," I said. "Exactly. And that's what I'm doing now." She handed me a small box. Inside was a silver bracelet. Delicate, old. "This was my mother's. Wear it tomorrow. For courage." "Diane, I can't." "You can. Wear it tomorrow. For courage." I put it on. It felt warm against my wrist. Sunday morning came fast. Diane and I woke at 6. She made coffee. Strong, black. "You ready?" she asked. "No. But I'm doing it anyway." At 9:15, Diane drove me 3 blocks from my house. We parked where we could see the driveway but stay hidden. I felt sick. What if this doesn't work? Then we go to Plan B? And Plan C? I didn't survive 40 years in law by giving up? At 9:28, Marcus pulled up to my house. Navy suit, briefcase. He looked legitimate. He knocked on the door. Ryan answered. I could see him through the window, confused at first. Marcus said something, gestured to the house. Ryan's face changed. He smiled, opened the door wider. Marcus went inside. He's in, Diane whispered. We waited. 10 minutes felt like 10 hours. Then a black sedan pulled up. A woman got out, mid-50s, professional, carrying a tablet and a folder. The realtor, Linda Brennan. I could see her name on the car door. She walked up to my house, and knocked like she owned it. Ryan opened the door, shook her hand, let her in. Diane's phone buzzed. Text from Marcus. Recording everything. Ryan just told the realtor, you're in the hospital, said you're elderly and can't manage the property. Elderly. I'm 62. Diane squeezed my hand. Breathe. Another text. Realtor wants to meet you in person. Ryan's making excuses, says you're too weak. Good, Diane said. The more he lies, the worse it is for him. We watched the house. Waited. 30 minutes later, Marcus walked out, shook Ryan's hand, got in his car, drove away. He texted, got everything. Meet me at Diane's. We drove back. Marcus was already there, laptop open on the dining table. Listen to this. He played the recording. Ryan's voice. My mother's elderly. She just had surgery. She's asked us to handle the sale. The realtor. I'd prefer to meet her in person. Ryan. She's in the hospital, very weak. She trusts us to make the right decisions. Amber's voice in the background. She knows it's for the best. Then, the realtor. I'll need written consent. Notarized. Ryan. I have power of attorney. The realtor. That's helpful. But I still prefer the homeowner's signature. Ryan. She's not in a position to sign anything right now. There it was. On tape. Ryan lying to a licensed realtor. That's fraud, Diane said. Misrepresentation. Attempted theft by deception. Marcus closed the laptop. And I have it all documented. I sat there, staring at the computer. My son, my own son, lying about me to sell my house. What do we do now? I asked. Diane smiled. Cold, calculated. Now we call him. And we set the trap. Diane handed me her phone. Call him. Tell him you're coming home early. Today. My hands shook. What do I say? Just tell him the doctor released you. You're feeling better. You'll be home in an hour. And then? Then we watch him panic. I dialed Ryan's number. It rang twice. Mom? His voice. Careful. Controlled. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? I'm good. How are you feeling? Much better, actually. The doctor says I'm recovering faster than expected. They're letting me go home today. Silence on the other end. Then, today? I thought you were staying until tomorrow. I was. But I feel strong. No point staying in the hospital if I don't need to. More silence. That's great, Mom. Really great. When are you coming home? In about an hour. Can you make sure the house is ready? Maybe tidy up a bit? His voice tightened. Yeah, sure. No problem. Thank you, honey. You're such a good son. I hung up. Diane smiled. Perfect. Marcus was already on his phone. I'm texting my contact at the county recorder's office. We need to know if Ryan's tried to file anything. Can you do that on a Sunday? She owes me a favor. She'll check. We waited. 5 minutes later, Marcus's phone buzzed. No filings yet. He hasn't submitted anything official. Good, Diane said. That means we're ahead of him. She spread papers across the table. The revocation letter, Dr. Patterson's statement, a cease and desist template. Here's the plan. We prepare 3 documents. First, the power of attorney revocation. This kills his legal authority. Second, a cease and desist letter to Ryan and the realtor. This tells them to stop immediately. Third, a pre-litigation notice. If he doesn't comply, you'll sue. I don't want to sue my son. You won't have to. The threat is enough. He'll back down. What if he doesn't? Diane looked at me. Hard. Then you fight, because if you don't, you lose everything. She was right. We spent the next hour finalizing the documents. Diane had a notary friend who agreed to come over. Sunday afternoon. She notarized all 3 letters. Legal. Binding. Ready. These get delivered tomorrow, Diane said. Hand-delivered by Marcus. Ryan can't claim he didn't receive them. What about today? I told him I'd be home in an hour. You're not going home. Not yet. Let him sweat. So we waited. Marcus set up a listening device. A small microphone he'd hidden in his briefcase during the visit. It was still in my living room, transmitting to his phone. Is that legal? I asked. In this state, you can record in your own home. And it's your house, so yes. We listened. Ryan's voice came through, frantic. She's coming home. Now. Today. Amber. What? No, she's supposed to be there until tomorrow. Ryan. I know. But she called. She's leaving the hospital. Amber. The realtor was just here. We told her mom would be gone for days. What do we do? Ryan. I don't know. Stall her. Tell her we need more time. Amber. How? Ryan. I'll call her back. Tell her the house isn't ready. Tell her to stay with a friend for a few days. Too late for that, Diane muttered. Marcus's phone buzzed again. A text from someone named Patricia. Who's Patricia? I asked. Your neighbor. She just texted me. She saw the realtor at your house this morning. She's suspicious. My neighbor, Patricia, 70 years old, lived next door for 15 years, watched everything. She wants to know if you're okay, Marcus said. Tell her I'm fine. And ask if she saw anything else. Marcus typed. Waited. Another text came back. She says she saw Ryan and Amber measuring the house last week. And Amber took pictures of everything. Evidence. We need her to write that down, Diane said. Official witness statement. Marcus called Patricia. Explained the situation. She agreed immediately. I never trusted that girl, Patricia said through the speaker. Something about her eyes. She'd come by Diane's house tonight to sign a statement. More evidence. We now had recordings, witness statements, legal documents. Ryan was trapped. He just didn't know it yet. At 3 o'clock, my phone rang. Ryan. I didn't answer. He called again. Again. 5 times in 10 minutes. Then a text. Mom, please call me. I'm worried. Another. Where are you? Are you okay? Another. The hospital says you checked out 2 days ago. Why didn't you tell me? He knew. Diane read the texts. Good. Let him panic. At 4 o'clock, Ryan called Diane's phone. I'd given him her number years ago for emergencies. Diane answered. Put it on speaker. Diane? It's Ryan. Is my mom with you? Yes. Can I talk to her? She doesn't want to talk to you right now. What? Why? What's going on? Diane's voice went cold. You know exactly what's going on, Ryan. Silence. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. And here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, you're going to receive some documents. You're going to read them very carefully. And then you're going to do exactly what they say. Diane, I don't understand. You will. She hung up. I sat there, stunned. Was that too much? Diane shook her head. No, that was perfect. Now he knows you're not alone, that you have help, that changes everything. She was right. For 35 years, I'd been alone, raising Ryan, losing Thomas, managing by myself. Ryan thought I was weak, isolated, easy to manipulate. But now I had Diane, Marcus, Patricia, Dr. Patterson. I had an army. And tomorrow, we'd deliver the first strike. But I couldn't wait until tomorrow. At 6 that evening, I called Ryan back. Diane sat next to me. Marcus across the table, both listening. Ryan answered on the first ring. Mom, where are you? Are you okay? I'm fine, Ryan. Where have you been? I've been calling you all day. I'm aware. Silence. Why didn't you answer? Because I needed time to think. Think about what? I took a breath. Diane nodded. About what I heard Friday night. What do you mean? I came home early from the hospital, Ryan. 2 days early. I stood outside the window, and I heard everything. The line went quiet. I could hear him breathing. Mom, I can explain. Explain what? That you were planning to sell my house without telling me? It's not like that. Then what is it like? He fumbled for words. We were just exploring options. For your future. You're getting older, and we thought. I'm 62, Ryan. Not 92. I know, but the house is big, and you're alone, and you decided to sell it while I was in the hospital. We were going to talk to you about it. When? After the realtor came? After you'd already signed the papers? No. Mom, please. Listen. I am listening. I heard you through the window. The realtor's coming tomorrow. Mom has no idea. Remember saying that? He said nothing. My neighbor called me, I continued. She saw the realtor at my house this morning. Care to explain that? That was just a consultation. A consultation for a house I didn't agree to sell. Mom. Let me ask you something, Ryan. Did you change the locks on my house? Silence. Ryan. Did you change the locks? I was trying to keep it secure. Secure from whom? From me? No. That's not. Then why can't my key open my own front door? I hadn't tried yet. But Diane had sent Marcus to check an hour ago. He'd confirmed it. New locks. Ryan didn't answer. I gave you power of attorney after your father died. Do you remember what you said to me? Mom, please. You said, I'll never use it unless you really need me to. Those were your exact words. I thought you needed help. Help? Or did you need money? The silence stretched long. We're in debt, he finally said, voice low, broken. Jessica lost her job 6 months ago. We're 3 months behind on the mortgage. I didn't know what else to do. There it was, the truth. So you decided to steal from me. I wasn't stealing. I was going to take care of you. Set you up somewhere nice. Somewhere nice? Or somewhere cheap so you could keep the rest? That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I worked 2 jobs to raise you. I gave you $15,000 for a car when you got married, $20,000 for your wedding. I gave you everything I had. I understand. And now you're taking the last thing I own. I was trying to help. Then why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you come to me and say, Mom, I'm in trouble. Can you help? Because I thought you'd say no. You didn't give me the chance. I heard a sound in the background. Amber's voice. Distant. Angry. Is Amber there? Yes. Put her on. Mom, that's not. Put her on the phone, Ryan. Rustling. Then Amber's voice. Cold. Sharp. Eleanor. Did you know about this? Know about what? Don't play games with me. Did you know Ryan was planning to sell my house? She didn't hesitate. Yes. At least she was honest. And you thought that was acceptable? We're drowning. We needed help. So you decided to throw me overboard to save yourselves. That's dramatic. Is it? You were going to sell my house? Put me in a nursing home? Take my money? And you think I'm being dramatic? We were going to take care of you. I don't need you to take care of me. I need you to respect me. This is pointless, Amber said. Then, away from the phone. Ryan, I'm done with this. The line clicked. Ryan was back. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I hear you. Can we fix this? I don't know, Ryan. You broke something. Something important. What do you want me to do? I want you to stop. No more realtor. No more plans. No more lies. Okay, I will. I promise. I've heard your promises before. Mom, please. Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, you're going to receive some documents. Legal documents. You're going to read them, and you're going to do exactly what they say. What documents? You'll see. Mom, you're scaring me. Good. You should be scared, because for the first time in your life, I'm not protecting you from the consequences of your actions. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Diane put her arm around me. You did good. I feel sick. That's normal. You just stood up to your son. That's not easy. Marcus closed his laptop. That call was recorded too. Everything he said. We have it. More evidence. But evidence didn't stop my heart from breaking. Monday morning arrived cold and gray. Diane made coffee. Strong. We sat at her kitchen table going through everything we had. We need to organize this properly, she said. Like a court case. Marcus opened his laptop. I've got the recordings from yesterday. Ryan's conversation with the realtor. Your phone call last night. Everything's time-stamped and saved. What else do we need? Written evidence, Diane said. Messages, emails, anything that shows intent. Marcus pulled up his phone. I took screenshots of the texts Ryan sent you yesterday. 5 calls, multiple texts asking where you were. That's not enough, Diane said. We need something that shows premeditation. Like what? Emails between Ryan and the realtor. Financial records. Anything that proves this wasn't a sudden decision. Marcus thought for a moment. I might be able to help with that. He made a call. Someone named Jake, an IT specialist he'd worked with before. Jake, I need a favor. Can you access deleted emails from an iCloud account? I grabbed his arm. Wait, is that legal? If you give permission, yes. It's your son. You're listed on his emergency contacts. You technically have access rights. That felt like a gray area. But I nodded. Jake worked fast. Within an hour, Marcus's laptop pinged. We're in. He opened an email thread. Between Ryan and Linda Brennan, the realtor. Dated 3 weeks ago. October 20th. Before my surgery. The first email. Hi Linda, my mother is having surgery next week. She's elderly and won't be able to manage her property anymore. I have power of attorney and would like to list the house as soon as possible. Please keep this confidential until we've completed the sale. She's emotional about the house, so I'd prefer she not be involved in the process. Thanks, Ryan. I read it 3 times. Elderly. Emotional. Prefer she not be involved. He planned this, I said, voice hollow. Before I even went into surgery. Diane leaned over. Read the email. Her jaw tightened. This is gold. He explicitly says he wants to exclude you from the process. That's abuse of power of attorney. Marcus scrolled down. More emails. October 23rd. Ryan to Linda. What's the estimated value? My wife and I need to know what we're working with. Linda's response. Based on comparable properties, 1.2 to 1.3 million. Ryan's reply. Perfect. How quickly can we close once it's listed? He was counting the money before you even had the surgery, Marcus said. There were more. Text messages between Ryan and Amber. October 18th. Amber to Ryan. How much do you think we can get for the house? Ryan. At least 1.2 million, maybe more if we stage it right. Amber. What if your mom says no? Ryan. She won't have a choice. Power of attorney, remember? Once she's post-op, I can claim she's not mentally fit to make decisions. Amber. That's genius. When do we start? Ryan. Right after her surgery. She'll be too weak to fight. I stared at the screen. Too weak to fight. My son wrote that. That's elder abuse, Diane said quietly. Premeditated financial exploitation. Marcus printed everything. 10 pages, emails, texts, timestamps. This is enough to press charges if you want to. I don't want him in jail. You might not have a choice if he doesn't back down. Diane organized the evidence into a folder. We also have Patricia's witness statement. She signed it last night. Patricia had written 2 pages, detailed, specific. She'd seen Ryan and Amber at my house on October 25th, measuring rooms, taking photos, talking about square footage and renovations. She'd seen the realtor's car on Sunday morning, watched Linda Brennan go inside with a tablet and folder. She'd lived next door for 15 years. She knew I'd never mentioned selling. This is our 3rd piece, Diane said. Witness testimony. Marcus added one more document. The recording of Ryan lying to the realtor, saying you were elderly, saying you couldn't make decisions. 4 pieces of evidence. Emails proving premeditation. Texts showing intent to exploit. Witness statement confirming suspicious activity. Audio recording of fraud. Now it's not just your word against his, Diane said. It's documented fact. We spent the rest of the morning preparing the final documents. The power of attorney revocation. Signed, notarized. The cease and desist letter. Addressed to Ryan, Amber, and Linda Brennan. The pre-litigation notice, warning that any further action would result in legal consequences. And a summary of evidence. Everything we had, organized, professional. Marcus will deliver these at noon, Diane said. Hand-delivered. Ryan has to sign for them. What happens then? Then we wait. He has 24 hours to comply. If he doesn't, we file a restraining order and report him for elder abuse. I looked at the stack of papers. My son's words printed in black and white. Too weak to fight. I was weak once, I said. When his father left. When Thomas died. When I thought I had no one. Diane put her hand on mine. But I'm not weak anymore. At noon, Marcus left to deliver the documents. Diane and I waited. I couldn't sit still. Paced the living room. Checked my phone every few minutes. At 12:15, Marcus texted, "Documents delivered. Ryan signed for them." "Good," Diane said. "Now we wait for his response." But Ryan's response wasn't what we expected. At 2 o'clock, my phone rang. 15 times, back to back. I didn't answer. Then the voicemail started. First message. "Mom, please pick up. We need to talk." Fifth message. "Mom, this is insane. You're overreacting." 10th message. "Fine. Don't answer, but you're making a huge mistake." 15th message. His voice cold, flat. "You're going to regret this." I played that last one for Diane. She saved it. "That's a threat. Document everything." Then the texts came, but not from Ryan. From Amber. "You're a selfish old woman. We were trying to help you. Now you're on your own. Don't expect us to be there when you really need us. Have fun dying alone in that house." I stared at the screen. Dying alone. Diane read over my shoulder. "That's harassment. Save those messages." I did. At 5 o'clock, I decided I needed to go home, just to get some things. Clothes, medication, my laptop. "I'll drive you," Diane said. We pulled up to my house just as the sun was setting, and I saw it immediately. The locks had been changed. I already knew that. But now there was something else. A new deadbolt. Industrial. Heavy duty. I tried my key. Nothing. Diane called a locksmith. He arrived 30 minutes later. "I can get you in," he said. But whoever installed this knew what they were doing. This isn't a standard lock. It took him 45 minutes. When the door finally opened, I stepped inside, and my chest tightened. The house felt wrong. Things were moved, rearranged. My photos on the mantel were gone. The living room furniture had been shifted. And then I noticed something worse. My jewelry box, the one on my dresser, open, empty. Inside that box was Thomas's wedding ring, the one I'd kept after he died, the one I planned to be buried with. It was gone. I checked every drawer, every cabinet. Nothing. Amber was wearing a new ring when I'd seen her through the window Friday night. A gold band. My breath caught. Diane. She came into the bedroom. I pointed to the empty box. "They took Thomas's ring." Diane called the police. They came, took a report, photographed the empty jewelry box, the moved furniture, the new locks. But they said what I knew they'd say. "This is a civil matter. Family dispute. You'll need to handle it through the courts." After they left, I sat on my couch, the couch Thomas and I bought 20 years ago, the one we'd watched movies on, the one where he'd fallen asleep holding my hand the night before he went into hospice. And I cried. Not because of the house, not even because of the ring. Because my son had become someone I didn't recognize. Diane made tea, sat next to me. "We're going to get that ring back." "How?" "We'll add theft to the legal filing. That's a crime. Not civil, criminal." I nodded, but I felt empty. Then my phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. "Mrs. Carter, this is Brad Mitchell. I'm Amber's cousin. We need to talk." I showed Diane. "Don't respond yet," she said. "Let me check him out first." She called Marcus, asked him to run a background check. 20 minutes later, Marcus called back. Brad Mitchell, 36 years old, real estate investor, specializes in buying distressed properties and flipping them. My stomach dropped. He's Amber's cousin? Yes. And get this. He's been in contact with Ryan. Multiple emails. They've been planning this together. Planning what? Marcus sent screenshots to Diane's phone. Email from Brad to Ryan, dated October 15th. Ryan, I heard your mom's having surgery. If you're serious about selling the house, I can make you a deal. I'll buy it from you at market price, flip it, and we split the profit 60-40. You get the majority since it's your asset. Let me know. This could solve your money problems fast. Ryan's response. I'm interested, but my mom doesn't know yet. Can we keep this quiet? Brad. Of course. I work with families in transition all the time. Very discreet. Once you have the power of attorney active, we can move quickly. There it was. This wasn't just Ryan and Amber. There was a third person, someone feeding them ideas, making it easy, offering money. He's been coaching them, Diane said, teaching them how to exploit you. I felt sick. How many people are involved in this? At least 3. Ryan, Amber, and Brad. Marcus pulled up more emails. October 28th. Brad to Ryan. The key is speed. Get her into assisted living fast. Once she's settled, she'll accept it. People adapt, and by then, the house will be sold and the money will be in your account. Ryan's reply. What if she fights? Brad. She won't. She's old, tired. She'll be relieved someone else is making the decisions. Old, tired, relieved. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I looked at Diane. I want to meet him. Brad? Yes. I want to hear him say all of this to my face. Eleanor, that's not. Set it up. Tell him I want to talk. Tell him I'm willing to negotiate. You're not actually going to negotiate. No. But he doesn't know that. Diane studied me. Then she smiled. You want to trap him too. I want him to confess. On record. Just like Ryan. That's risky. I don't care. He called me old, tired. He thought I'd just give up. I stood up. Looked around my house. My home. He was wrong. Diane responded to Brad's text that night. Mr. Mitchell, this is Eleanor Carter. I understand you've been in contact with my son regarding my property. I'd like to meet with you to discuss the situation. Are you available tomorrow? His response came within 5 minutes. Mrs. Carter? Yes, I'd be happy to meet. I think there's been some misunderstanding. Can we meet at 2 p.m.? I know a quiet coffee shop on Main Street, Brewster's. Perfect. See you then. Diane looked at me. You're really doing this? I am. We need a plan. A real one. He's a professional. He'll be careful. Marcus arrived an hour later, brought recording equipment. A small device that looked like a pen, another that fit in my purse. Both of these record audio, he said. High quality, admissible in court. What do I say to him? Diane pulled out a notepad, started writing. You play the role he expects, confused elderly woman, overwhelmed, grateful for help. I'm not confused. I know, but he thinks you are. Use that. She wrote out a script, questions to ask, ways to phrase things that would make Brad talk. Get him to explain the plan, in detail, the flip, the profit split, everything. What if he doesn't take the bait? He will. Men like him can't resist explaining how smart they are. That night, I barely slept, rehearsed the questions in my head, over and over. Tuesday morning came. Diane helped me dress. Conservative, simple. A blue cardigan Thomas had bought me years ago, my mother's pearl necklace. I looked like someone's grandmother. That was the point. At 1:45, Diane drove me to Brewster's. She and Marcus would be inside, separate tables, watching. I walked in at exactly 2 p.m. Brad was already there. Corner booth. He stood when he saw me. Tall, mid-30s, expensive suit. Mrs. Carter, thank you for meeting me. He shook my hand, firm grip, confident. We sat. He ordered coffee for both of us. Didn't ask what I wanted, just ordered. I'm glad you reached out, he said. I think Ryan may have given you the wrong impression about my involvement. What is your involvement? I'm a family friend, Amber's cousin. When I heard about your situation, I wanted to help. My situation? Your health. The surgery. Ryan mentioned you've been struggling to maintain the house. Did he? He's worried about you. We all are. I let the silence sit. Diane had coached me on this. Let him fill the quiet. He did. The house is a lot for one person, especially at your age. Have you thought about downsizing? Ryan mentioned that. It makes sense. Something smaller, a nice community, less maintenance. And what happens to my house? Well, that's where I can help. I work with families in transition. I buy properties at fair market value, handle all the paperwork, make it easy. How much would you pay? His eyes brightened. Based on current comps, I'd say 1.1 million. Cash. Close in 30 days. 1.1 million. The realtor had said 1.2 to 1.3. He was lowballing me. That seems fair, I said. Kept my voice soft. Uncertain. It is. And the best part? You wouldn't have to deal with realtors. Showings, inspections. I'd take it as is. What would you do with it? Probably some updates. Fresh paint, new floors. Then sell it. That's my business. And you'd make a profit. A small one. But that's how I make my living. How much profit? He hesitated. Hard to say. Maybe 50 to 70,000 after costs. He was lying. If he bought at 1.1 and sold at 1.3, that was 200,000 profit, minimum. Ryan mentioned you'd split the profit with him. Brad's smile tightened. Just slightly. That's between Ryan and me. A separate agreement. But it involves my house. Technically, yes. But once you sell to me, what I do with it is my business. I see. I sipped my coffee. Let him think I was considering it. Mrs. Carter, can I be honest with you? Please. Ryan's in trouble. Financial trouble. He didn't want to worry you, but he's 3 months behind on his mortgage. If he doesn't get help soon, he could lose his house. He told me. Then you understand. This isn't about the money. It's about family. Helping each other. By selling my house. By liquidating an asset you don't need, so your son can keep his home. The way he said it. So smooth. So reasonable. Like I was selfish for hesitating. What if I say no? Brad leaned back. His smile faded. Just a little. That's your right, of course. But Ryan has power of attorney. If he determines you're not capable of making sound financial decisions, he can proceed without your consent. Is that legal? If it's in your best interest, yes. And who decides what's in my best interest? Ryan does. That's what power of attorney means. There it was. The threat, wrapped in a polite explanation. I need time to think about this. Of course. But Ryan's situation is urgent. I'd hate to see him lose everything while you're deciding. How much time do I have? I'd say a week, maybe 2. After that, the market could shift. The offer might change. Pressure, urgency, classic manipulation. I stood. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mitchell. He stood too, handed me a business card. Call me when you're ready. I'm here to help. I took the card, smiled, and walked out. Marcus and Diane followed 30 seconds later. In the car, Marcus played back the recording. Every word, clear as glass. Brad admitting the lowball offer. Brad explaining the profit split. Brad threatening to use power of attorney. That's coercion, Diane said, and conspiracy to commit fraud. I stared out the window. How many people tried to steal from me? 3 that we know of. I thought about that. Ryan, Amber, Brad, all of them sitting around, planning, dividing up my life. They thought I was easy. Diane squeezed my hand. They were wrong. That night, Diane spread everything across her dining table. Documents, recordings, evidence, witness statements. We have enough to take this to court, she said, and win. I don't want court. I want my son back. Eleanor, I know. I know he's done terrible things, but somewhere inside him is the boy I raised, the one who cried at his father's funeral, the one who promised to take care of me. Diane sat down next to me. What do you want to do? I want to confront him. All of them. Ryan, Amber, Brad. Together. In one room. I want them to face what they've done. That's risky. I don't care. Marcus leaned against the wall. If you do this, we need to control the environment. Your house, our recording equipment, witnesses outside if things go wrong. Can you arrange that? Yes. But you need to be ready. This won't be easy. None of this has been easy. We spent the next day planning. Wednesday morning, I sent a text to Ryan. We need to talk. All of us. You, Amber, and Brad. My house. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you want any chance of fixing this, you'll be there. Ryan responded immediately. Mom, I don't think that's a good idea. 6 p.m. Don't be late. He didn't argue further. I texted Brad. Same message. He agreed. Thursday came. Diane helped me prepare. Marcus installed cameras in the living room. Audio in every corner. Patricia agreed to wait in her house next door, just in case. At 5:45, I sat in my living room, the room where I'd raised Ryan, where Thomas and I had celebrated birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas mornings, the room they tried to take from me. At 6 p.m. exactly, the doorbell rang. I opened it. Ryan stood there, Amber beside him, Brad behind them. They looked nervous. Good. Come in. They filed past me, sat on the couch, the three of them in a row. I stood across from them. Diane sat in the corner chair, quiet, observing. Thank you for coming. Ryan spoke first. Mom, I'm sorry. About everything. I was wrong. Were you? Yes. I should have talked to you, asked for help instead of planning to sell my house while I was in surgery? He looked down. I pulled out my phone, played the recording from Brad's meeting. Brad's voice. Ryan has power of attorney. If he determines you're not capable of making sound financial decisions, he can proceed without your consent. Brad's face went pale. Did you say that, Mr. Mitchell? I was explaining the legal process. You were threatening me. That's not. I played another recording, the one from Sunday, Ryan talking to Linda Brennan. Ryan's voice. My mother's elderly. She just had surgery. She's asked us to handle the sale. I never asked you to handle anything. Ryan started to speak. I held up my hand. I'm not finished. I pulled out printed emails, the ones Marcus had recovered. October 20th. You emailed Linda Brennan before my surgery. You wrote, she's emotional about the house, so I'd prefer she not be involved in the process. I handed the paper to Ryan. He didn't look at it. October 23rd. You and Amber texted each other. You wrote, once she's post-op, I can claim she's not mentally fit to make decisions. She'll be too weak to fight. Amber shifted in her seat. October 15th. Brad emailed you. He wrote, I'll buy it from you at market price, flip it, and we split the profit 60-40. I looked at each of them. You planned this for weeks, maybe months. While I was worried about surgery, you were dividing up my life. Ryan's voice cracked. Mom, we were desperate. So you decided to steal from me. We weren't stealing. We were trying to help you. Help me? You changed the locks on my house. You took Thomas's wedding ring. You were going to put me in a nursing home and sell everything I own. Amber spoke for the first time. We were going to take care of you. I turned to her. Where's the ring? What? Thomas's ring. The one that was in my jewelry box. Where is it? She looked at Ryan. He looked away. You're wearing it, aren't you? Slowly, she reached into her purse, pulled out a small box, opened it. Thomas's ring. She set it on the coffee table. I picked it up, held it in my palm. The weight of it, the memories. This was the last thing I had of him, the one thing I wanted to be buried with, and you took it. I didn't think you'd notice. You didn't think I'd notice. I looked at Ryan. Is this who you've become? Someone who steals from his own mother? I was going to give it back. When? After you'd sold the house and put me somewhere I couldn't complain? He didn't answer. I sat down, across from them. Here's what's going to happen. I've revoked your power of attorney. It's done. Notarized, filed. You have no legal authority over me or my property anymore. Mom, I've sent a cease and desist letter to Linda Brennan. She will not be listing this house, ever. And I've documented everything, every email, every text, every recording. If any of you try to contact me, threaten me, or come near my property again, I will file charges for elder abuse, fraud, and theft. Brad stood. Mrs. Carter, I think you're overreacting. Sit down. My voice was cold. He sat. You tried to manipulate me, lowball me, pressure me into selling my home so you could flip it for profit. That's fraud. And I have it all on tape. You recorded me? I did. In a public place, perfectly legal. He looked at Ryan. You said she was confused, that she wouldn't figure it out. Confused? I laughed. I'm 62 years old. I raised a child alone, paid off a mortgage, nursed my husband through cancer. I've survived more than you three will ever understand. And you thought I was confused? Ryan buried his face in his hands. Mom, please, we'll fix this. I'll do anything. Anything? Yes. Then leave. All of you. Get out of my house. And don't come back until you've figured out who you want to be. Because right now, I don't recognize any of you. Amber stood. Come on, Ryan. She's not going to listen. Ryan didn't move. Ryan, let's go. He looked at me, eyes red. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I know you are. But sorry isn't enough. He stood, followed Amber to the door. Brad walked past me without a word. At the threshold, Ryan turned back. Do you hate me? I looked at my son, the boy I'd loved for 35 years, the man who'd betrayed me. No. But I don't trust you. And I don't know if I ever will again. He nodded and left. The door closed. Diane came over, put her arm around me. You did it. I stared at Thomas's ring in my hand. I didn't save my son. I just stopped him from destroying me. Sometimes that's the same thing. 2 months passed. I didn't hear from Ryan. Not a call, not a text, nothing. Part of me was relieved. Part of me ached. I kept busy. Joined a support group for elder abuse survivors. Diane took me the first time. I didn't want to go. Didn't want to say the words out loud. My son tried to steal from me. But I went. And I met others. Women mostly. Some men. All with similar stories. Children who saw their parents as assets, not people. I started volunteering. Teaching piano to kids in the neighborhood. Small income. But more than that, purpose. My house felt like mine again. I changed all the locks myself, repainted the kitchen, planted roses in the front yard, things I'd been too tired to do before. I was healing, but I still thought about Ryan every day. On a Tuesday in early January, my phone buzzed. A text from Ryan. Mom, I've been going to therapy, twice a week, for 2 months. I'm working on myself. Can we meet? Just once, please. I stared at the screen for a long time. Diane sat across from me. What does your gut say? I don't know. Part of me wants to see him. Part of me doesn't trust it. You don't have to decide now. But I did. Because not deciding was deciding. I texted back. We can meet, but not at my house, and not alone. The park, Saturday at 2 p.m. His response? Thank you. Saturday came cold and bright. January sun, no warmth in it. Diane drove me to the park. She'd wait in the car, 20 feet away, close enough if I needed her. Ryan was already there, sitting on the bench where I'd sat that first night. When I'd walked away from my house after hearing his plan, he looked different. Thinner, older, dark circles under his eyes. He stood when he saw me. Hi, Mom. Hi. We sat, 3 feet between us. Might as well have been 3 miles. You look good, he said. You look tired. I am. I haven't slept well since everything happened. Neither have I. The silence stretched, awkward, heavy. I've been going to therapy, he said, twice a week. My therapist asked me to write you a letter, to explain why I did what I did. He pulled an envelope from his coat pocket. I didn't take it. Tell me instead. He put the envelope back. Looked at his hands. I was scared, terrified. We were drowning financially. Amber lost her job. We were 3 months behind on everything. The bank was threatening foreclosure. I felt like I was failing. As a husband. As a provider. So you decided to fail as a son instead. He flinched. Yes. Why didn't you ask me for help? Because I thought you'd say no. You don't know that. You're right. But I was ashamed. I didn't want you to see me as a failure. So instead, you made me see you as a thief. He nodded, tears on his face now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Mom. I've hated myself every day since. Good. You should. He looked up, surprised. I'm not going to make this easy for you, Ryan. You don't get to apologize and have everything go back to normal. What you did was unforgivable. Then why are you here? I thought about that. Why was I here? Because I'm your mother. And no matter how much you hurt me, I can't stop loving you. But love doesn't mean I have to trust you again. I understand. Do you? Do you understand what you took from me? It wasn't just the house. It was my safety, my peace. You made me feel like I couldn't trust my own son. Do you know what that does to a person? I do now. What changed? What made you go to therapy? He wiped his face. Amber left me. I wasn't expecting that. What? A month after everything fell apart, she left. Said I was weak, that I should have handled it better, that it was my fault we lost the chance at the money. I'm sorry. I'm not. She showed me who she really was, and I realized I'd become someone just like her. Someone who put money above people, above you. He looked at me, really looked at me. You were right. I should have asked for help. I should have trusted you. Instead, I tried to take from you. Yes, you did. Can you ever forgive me? The question I'd been dreading. I don't know, Ryan. Forgiveness isn't something you earn in 2 months. It's something that grows slowly over time, if it grows at all. What can I do? Keep going to therapy. Fix your life. Prove that you can be the man I raised, not the man who betrayed me. And then we'll see. But I'm not making any promises. He nodded. Fair. We sat in silence. A different kind now. Less heavy. I missed you, he said quietly. My chest tightened. I missed you too. But the son I missed wouldn't have done what you did. So I'm left wondering if that son ever existed, or if I just imagined him. He was real. He's still here. I just lost him for a while. Then find him again. Because until you do, I can't have you in my life. How long will that take? I don't know. Maybe a year, maybe more, maybe never. He looked at the ground. I deserve that. Yes, you do. Another silence. Can I ask you something? He said. What? Do you regret having me? The question hit like a punch. What? No, never. Even after everything? You're my son. I carried you. I raised you. I loved you with everything I had. And yes, you broke my heart. But I don't regret you. I regret what you became, but not who you were. I want to be that person again. Then do it. Not for me, for yourself. We stood. He looked like he wanted to hug me. I stepped back. I'm not ready for that yet. He nodded, hurt in his eyes, but understanding too. Can we do this again? Maybe next month? I thought about it. Maybe. Text me in a few weeks. We'll see. Okay. He started to walk away, then stopped, turned back. Mom? Yes? Thank you. For giving me a chance. I'm not giving you a chance, Ryan. I'm giving you a choice. What you do with it is up to you. He nodded, walked to his car. I watched him go, then walked back to Diane. She looked at me. How did it go? I don't know. He apologized, cried, said he's in therapy. Do you believe him? I want to. But wanting to believe someone and actually believing them are different things. What are you going to do? I'm going to live my life. And if he changes, really changes, maybe someday we'll find a way back to each other. But I'm not waiting for him to fix things. I'm fixing myself. Diane smiled. That's the strongest thing I've heard you say. We drove back to my house, my home. I made tea, sat on the couch, Thomas's ring on a chain around my neck now, close to my heart where it belonged. I thought about Ryan. About the boy he was, the man he became, the person he might be again someday. But mostly, I thought about myself. For 62 years, I'd taken care of other people, my son, my husband, everyone except me. Now, for the first time, I was choosing myself. And that didn't make me selfish. It made me whole. 6 months later, July. I sit on my porch now, the one I repaired myself, drinking iced tea, watching the roses bloom, the ones I planted in January. They're beautiful, pink and white. Thomas would have loved them. I still teach piano. 3 students a week. Mrs. Patterson's granddaughter. The twins from down the street. A shy boy named Michael, who reminds me of Ryan at that age. I lead the support group now. Every Thursday night, 12 women, 2 men, all of us learning the same lesson. Survival isn't about holding on to the past. It's about letting go of what no longer serves you, even if it's someone you love. I get letters from Ryan. Once a month. I read them. Sometimes I respond, sometimes I don't. We're not there yet. Maybe we never will be. But I'm okay with that. I learned something these past months. Something I should have known all along. Home isn't a building. It's not wood and brick and mortgage payments. Home is wherever you choose yourself first. And right now, sitting on this porch, in this house I fought to keep, I'm home. If you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. This wasn't easy to share, but I needed to. Because if my story helps even one person out there who's going through something similar, then it was worth it. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved, if you've ever had to choose between family and self-respect, if you've ever wondered if you're strong enough to start over, I want you to know something. You are. Leave a comment below. Tell me where you're listening from. Tell me your story if you're ready. We're not alone in this. None of us are. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Sometimes the best gift we can give is letting someone know they're not the only one. Thanks for being part of this journey. I'll see you in the next one.